We are live on the virtual Grip Network from one of the few commonwealths left, the great state of Virginia, home of rebellion and America's cheapest cigarettes. We are in for a non-stop party full of excitement. But before we tighten down the hatches, let's break down last week. Week 6 turned out to be packed full of excitement when defending champion Josh Robinson took back what was his and celebrated in victory lane at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Tires controlled most of the story as drivers needed to be conservative and use their final set at the right time. Will tire wear be an issue once again? Can defending champion Josh Robinson go back-to-back? These questions and many more will be answered as we roll into Week 7 of the OBRL YesterYear Racing Cup Series. YesterYear, where past meets present. I'm Zach Chapman, a.k.a. Shaggy, along with my partner in crime, John Hine. We're lucky enough to have the heartbeat of VGN bringing us all these sights and sounds, the one and only Ryan Seneker. Now, located in Southern Virginia, the Martinsville Speedway is home to possibly the most prestigious trophy in the world, the Grandfather Clock. That being said, drivers have been known to get their elbows out while fighting tooth and nail across this half-mile racing surface, and drivers such as legendary names Dale Earnhardt, Denny Hamlin, and Richard Petty are some of the few to have claimed the clock. But tonight, we're going to add one more. 200 laps stand between those drivers and their shot at possibly locking themselves into the OBRL playoffs. It's almost showtime. Now, John, normally you go down south, they're known for their hospitality. But at the half mile of Martinsville, how much of that do you think we're going to see tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, from the driver's seat, not a whole lot of hospitality, just because there's not a whole lot of room to be hospitable, I guess you could say. You know what? This is going to be a track that's going to present a couple of unique challenges for the drivers. Jumping into the throttle, keeping the car under you. You got to make time by maximizing these straightaways, but if you get too greedy on corner exit, you're going to have a hard time keeping the back under the car, and you're going to probably spin out. The other part of this is going to be corner entry. When you got a bunch of cars out on this track, you gotta watch for the accordion effect happen. Guys braking earlier, some guys braking later. This is a track that you really have to know who you're racing around, and more importantly, you have to know their tendencies to really stay clean and even set up passes, make passes, things like that. So these guys are going to have a lot on their plate. And oh, by the way, this is a really tricky pit road. When you get down you got to really get down off of the track and get woed up. But I'll tell you, Zach, leaving pit road is tough because where the wall ends, that's not where pit speed ends. Pit speed is extended out just a little bit, a little green cone. I don't know, probably about 20, 30 yards further than the end of the wall. And, you know, I've been here a few times and I've been caught speeding because I hit the end of the pit road, a little trigger in my brain, makes my foot push the pedal down, and I've been nabbed a few times here for speeding.
Yeah, definitely, you know, and I mentioned it being flat. You can see there in that wonderful aerial cam our camera guy has right now. Very flat coming off the racing or the pit surface there up to the track. Normally you got a little bit of banking, you know, to help you bring that thing in. But, John, if you jump on the throttle too quick, man, you are going to go around. And at a track like Martinsville, not a lot of room. So if something happens in front of you, man, you got to be quick on the brakes and just hope the guy behind you is too.
Yeah, 100%. I practice. I watch a lot of guys do that. You know, I try to gas her up. Now, I'm sure that these guys are just trying to find where the edge was. But, you know, we got a big field here on a very small track. So somebody up front does this. You know what? I know you associate the big one with Talladega, Daytona, but you know what? We may have that here tonight.
Yeah, and you know, John, we talked a little bit about before this thing rolled off. We're thinking around 150 laps to a set of tires. How important is track position? When we get to lap 50, do we maybe short pit this thing and try to catch some of those guys out and get them for free when they come down pit road?
You know what? I don't know if I'd want a short pit here. You're going to lose 2 laps while you're pitting. I think I would try to maximize everything I got just because of the quick lap times around here.
That being said, qualifying comes to a close here in any moment. We're going to get a look here at our starting lineup. There it goes, and looky who on the pole, a familiar name, Andrew Kotzka to the outside, Courtney Nelson.
In the second row is going to be Roger Hurley and his number 77 to his outside. Starting fourth will be Dwayne MacArthur.
Daryl Weininger to the inside of row 3 to the outside, Christian Lucian.
Starting seventh in the car number 7 is going to be the trash man Dan Hill. To his outside will be James Hislop.
Row 5 to the inside, Tom Ogle to the outside, Jerry Isaacs.
Last week's winner is going to roll off 11th. That's going to be Josh Robinson. And to his outside, starting 12th will be Lloyd Moore.
Chris Walsh to the inside of row 7 to the outside, Crisco, Robert Warisco.
15th on the grid will be Andy Thomas. 16th will be Chris Bates.
Ryan Lynch lines up on the inside of row 9 to the outside, the boss man, Victor Lane.
The Raging Cajun Eddie Jones will be 19th. To his outside, Bill Martin.
The 9-ball Allen Wanamaker rolls off to the inside of row 11 to the outside, Brian Lindsay.
Fred Wolford will start 23rd. Tommy Amassi will be 24th.
Row 13 to the inside, Lucky Larry Corey to the outside, Michael Dow.
Greg McDaniel and Andrew Midland will occupy 27th, 28th.
Scott Negus to the inside of row 15 to the outside, Bruce Pearson.
John Hastings and Mark Fish gonna occupy the next row.
Nicholas Self to the inside of row 17 to the outside, Torrance Child.
Gavin Adams and Luke Lane gonna round up the field.
36 drivers along this half-mile racetrack. John, you touched on it a little bit, but that is a lot of guys. And if you are struggling, it's not going to be a lot to separate you from going a lap down. Things are going to happen really, really fast out here.
Yeah, if you're in the back of the pack and it's, you know, you got to have a sense of urgency as soon as the flag flies here because, that leader's going to come up on you pretty quick.
And speaking of, as we cross that starter stand, should get ready to go green next time by. We'll see pace car's lights are off. So, John, you know, if you're Courtney Nelson here, we talked about the high side being able to roll a little bit, possibly before the marbles build up. Do you try to make your move, take the lead now, or do you just play patient?
If you can get to the outside and get out front, you do it. If you can fall in behind them, that's what you do also. You don't want to get caught out there.
Well, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly here at the Martinsville Speedway. We've got 200 laps to play as Kotzka drops the hammer, and we're off into turn 1. Courtney Nelson right away trying to find a little breathing room down in the bottom, and I think he's going to be able to slot right in line. But now Roger Hurley, he's got the battle for third.
Yeah, side by side for third on back here, and they got through turns 1 and 2 clean. Looks like they're going to get through 3 and 4 clean too.
Yeah, and you know, MacArthur kind of playing that just like you said in your handbook there, John, getting that outside to roll. If you're on the bottom, you can't really carry all that momentum up to the top side of the racetrack because, you know, we mentioned this place kind of being like a paper clip. Well, it really thins out when you come out of the corners. Not a lot of room, and it can't. Oh, the trash man! He is into the
big wreck.
hard. Daniel Hill. Oh, he got a little help there, I think, under braking. Or maybe just lost it, and if he did lose the rear end, that's something I wanted to talk to you about, John. Maybe just a little more rear brake and cold tires. That can do that. But we'll have to see if he got any help here as we take a look at the replay.
Yeah, it's really easy to wheel hop here, but I think it looks like he had a checkup. Did a little bit of a checkup not to hit the guy in front of him, and this got last week's winner involved too, Josh Robinson.
And Josh,
we talk about that accordion effect right there. It was.
We can see. I'm having a tough trouble reading that number, that blue machine there that disappeared. I couldn't tell. So that was Lucian there in the 3. All right, that was a 3 on that. So, yeah, tough break. You know, I mean, John, we've talked about it at other racetracks, but this place, we should have highlighted it especially. But there not being a lot of banking, you really can't see much out of that windshield.
No, you can't. You're going to have a really hard time. So if somebody checks up, that's, you know, it goes back to what I was saying, though. The accordion effect is going to be big here. It's going to happen. It doesn't even have to be because of a checkup, just because of where maybe somebody breaks. Maybe they overdrove a corner and now they're a little gun shy and they decide to ease up, you know. So that messes your timing up. You get in the back of them. Corner entry here is really, really difficult, especially in these big, heavy cars. They don't like to slow down. You know, you've got to put a little bit of brake in. If you realize you've overdriven it and then you put a lot of brake in, well, then you get the wheel hopping around you go. So just the slightest mistake, no real good options to get yourself out of it.
Obviously, you know, we talked a little bit about it. Green flag pit stop, that's it's going to doom you if you've got to come in and you want to try to short pit. But if we get another caution, possibly around lap 45, lap 50, do you think drivers try to come in and just one stop this, you go the final rest of the way?
Well, I tell you, that's a $1 million question. You know, maybe somebody will, maybe it'll pay off for them. But, you know, the one thing about that, you know, if you do that, you know, we were talking about you're going to be in the back, the leader's not too far behind you. If you're going to do it, you better have confidence that you can take that car and start putting some distance between you and the leaders.
Yeah, and you know, possibly new tires not going to have a huge effect, but boy, as they're wore down as we get to the end, it is going to be huge if you can have that difference at the right time. But you see, we're about to enter the Geico restart zone, and Kotska ready to drop the hammer. Great restart from the driver of the 40, and John, long ways away, but he would be the first 3-time winner, as he's only the only 2-time winner so far this season.
Yeah, he's started off with the season really, really strong here, and he's definitely looking like he's not done yet.
Arthur there took a little peek at the bottom, but I just think early on these guys, they're used to the long green flag runs. They know it's coming, John. I don't think, you know, they've got themselves trained almost. You can't go in there and beat up the tires this early in the race. The pace out of these guys is just phenomenal.
Yeah, and, you know, we haven't touched on it yet, but we need to. The 9 incidents are also going to dictate just how aggressive these guys are early. A little bump. You know what? That's a 1X. You got a long way to go. You do not want to start racking those incident points up.
Yeah, and you know, some of those guys who were involved who had to come down pit road, one of them, Josh Robinson, that's a great point, John. So not only does he have to try now to work his way through the field of 36 cars, but you got to do it, you got to play nice, or you're not going to be able to finish the game at all. So right now we roll around, laps ticking off. It happens fast here, already on lap 12. John, you blink, man. We're already a 20th of the way through here.
Yeah, once they get going here, yeah, these laps are going to really click off pretty quick here. I mean, they're running sub 20-second laps.
Tom Ogle getting a little bit of pressure behind him. Jerry Isaacs looked like, you know, just gave him a little bump there in the center of the corner through 1 and 2. But now you see the 74 machine of the Krispy Kreme. Now we're back to Ogle. See, he got a little bump from Isaacs, and I think Isaacs said, Tom, you're not going to go, man. You better let me by. And Tom got the hint. He drives by the 77 of Hurley. And Hurley, one of those guys, John, last week, if you remember, did this at the beginning of Homestead, but boy, he was ready to play. He finished in the top 5, I believe, at Homestead last week.
Yeah, and you know, it's always good when you have a good finish. You feel good for the week. You kind of start looking forward to the next race, and when you start your confidence, man, I think that's such a big thing. When you're feeling confident what you're doing and got some good finishes under your belt, that's worth a 10th every track you go to.
And I want to highlight here, I believe, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong in my ear, but the new guy we've been taking an eye on is Andrew Medlin. Okay, obviously with the rookie number, it's going to be 104 in your hearts, but 12 on the screen. when we get there. And, man, you know, rookie got to start in the back, but John, up 9 spots already. Started 28th, up to 19th. He has got some pace. We saw him towards the top there of the warm-up sheet.
Yeah, looking to make his mark early here, and he's going to have his work cut out though for him. I mean, to be honest with you, this race is only 200 laps, and you touched on how quick they're reeling off here. And you know, you get a long green flag run. Next thing you know, you're looking at a Saturday night shootout. 50, maybe 100 laps, and that's all you got left.
No, and I think the interesting part, and John, you always catch me sleeping, man. And you know, I've been a NASCAR fan my whole life. I should have thought of this, but you really got my mind going now. If this thing, like we expect, then I give it the jinx. Andrew Medlin gets into the car in front of him when he gets a little loose, and the caution flag waves. But boy, man, I was just about to talk green flag run here. The jinx cast us. I don't think Andrew really could have done anything about that. We're going to take a look here. The 18. No, you can see it, John, just clips that curve, and man, if you do that, that will upset the car terribly.
Yeah, those curbs are no joke. I don't care what you're running here, whether it be a modified, a truck, a late model. Those curbs will really, really upset the car and lose the balance. And in this case, it just instantly kicked him loose. And yeah, Medlin, there was nowhere that he could go in that car. He just kind of hooked him around.
And build a car that's fun. Obviously, John, as you would, you got a couple extra sets. You know you can go a long way on gas tonight. Done a 360, you might as well come in and take these tires and gas. And something else interesting, John. You know, we've talked about these guys like the long green flag runs. Now, Bill, by doing this, if we get a long green flag run, he can go an extra 20 laps.
Catch a lot of people a lap down that way, but I think he lost a lap in that spin though, so he's gonna have to hope for another quick caution and to catch the lucky dog. Currently he and Torrance Childs are the ones a lap down, so right now he's gonna find that 105 car, and that's the guy that he's got to stay in front of. But we were already to the point where Koska was catching the back of the pack, and that was after maybe about a 15 lap run, so he's gonna have to hope for a really quick caution here to help him get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, and, you know, we've seen how quick things can happen. And, John, you know, we talk about a lot, especially coming from the dirt side of things. When you approach that lap car, you know, you want him to run where he's comfortable. But for the majority of people, that's going to be on the inside. So if you're Andrew, when you're coming up on lap traffic, you think he's got to expect to make the move on the top shelf, or do you think guys are going to get up and clear open the bottom?
I think people would get up and out of the way. The etiquette on that's completely different than dirt, because it's just two different, it's apples and oranges. Most asphalt racing, the lap down guys, they get out of the groove, and wherever the main places or folks are running, that's where they're going to give the leaders.
The lights are off on the pace car, so as we head down the backstretch here, we'll see him pull off. Andrew Kotka set to bring the field to the green for the third time. As he rolls the bottom through 3 and 4. We've seen MacArthur try to get a little aggressive these opening laps. Does he get a good jump behind the 40 of Andrew Kotka? As Andrew drops the hammer and we're back underway. Lap 24, and now MacArthur, there he, if anything, almost got rear-ended from the 51 Isaacs. Got on the brakes a little early, and now it's making Tom Ogle maybe flex those muscles on the top shelf. But now MacArthur overdrives corner entry, and Isaac's going to take a peek here on the exit. Does he have enough? He's going to drive it in.
Yeah, just the slightest mistake here, and I tell you, if he can't get in there behind Isaacs here, it looks like Isaacs got a nose here. He's going to fight on the outside. But I tell you, Ogle's wanting to close that gap. So if, Arthur into the wall hard. MacArthur hard into the wall.
Yeah, couldn't tell if maybe the 51 there. Oh, now MacArthur trying to come down. 15 home, Daryl Weininger. But boy, oh boy, the 83 holds on. But man, John, that was a ride.
Stretch.
And it maybe caused the commotion behind, guys checking up possibly. But we got another big one on the backstretch, and, you know, with leaders coming here, them still sitting still, John, we're going to see a couple guys go another lap down.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of check up there. The 28 looks like it just, yeah, he checked up for who was in front of him there, and when he did it, just pow. So once again, that accordion effect. Robert Grisco there really caught out there.
Yeah, and notice who got stuck there in the back. No damage, John, but he is stuck behind the pace car from what I'm seeing on the live screen. Now, they should get the waiver round, possibly, since they're ahead of the leader, I think.
Yes, they will.
But, you know, that limits you. Now, if you're Josh and you wanted to come in and get some fuel here, John, you can't.
No, you can't, but I don't think that's going to hurt him too much here. So that takes away the lucky dog, too, I think. So the producers tell me we still get the lucky dog. So you tell, so lucky break here for a few drivers, actually.
We got the best producer in iRacing, and this guy claims to know nothing about NASCAR, right, John? I mean, listen to him, feeding us all this information.
Yeah, there's the lucky dog there. That's going to be big for Bill Martin there, because we saw him go the lap down there. And Bill's usually got some pace here to him, so he's got a long way to go. Be nice for him to see if he can get back in this thing.
Yeah, and Dwayne MacArthur, you know, we saw him kind of get sideways earlier, John. Maybe the root of that caution, guys checking up behind. He is still on pit road. He just went a lap down, so must have suffered some severe right front damage. That was
he hit that wall hard.
Yeah,
he popped off that, and he looked like he had a heck of a time getting through 1 and 2 after that. So I don't know if it broke right front or whatever it did, but yeah, he had his hands full in 1 and 2.
We get the 1 to green here. The guys get the waiver round, and well, you know,
I can't wait till NASCAR brings the choose cone out. That's coming, you know. So the guys are going to be able to choose if they want to start high or low.
Man, now that's risky. Obviously, we can't do it now, John. But if you're in 3rd or 4th place, do we want the bottom, or do we go up top and be aggressive?
I'm at Martinsville, man. I always want the bottom.
We'll have to see here if it works out for Andrew Kotska as he gets ready to bring us back for the 4th time here. Lap 31 is underway here at the Martinsville Speedway. It's battle on for 2nd here. Isaacs, he was able to take advantage of the 77's mistake there earlier, but now he saw the writing on the wall, had to hop back up in line. That 11 and Tom Ogle was coming with a big run behind.
Yeah, Ogle's been really patient here, so he's almost got the look of someone that's just trying to click laps off and save their stuff.
And, you know, that's what you got to do. And I don't know. James Hislop, he's battling there. He's in 6th. He's on the outside. I can't decide whether or not I like this strategy, John, if we're wearing down the tires more in that middle groove or if we want to slow it down and get to the bottom. What's your professional take here?
Well, I don't think they're wearing them anymore. You're putting less wheel in the car to turn around the corner. So, you know, you're probably actually, if you can pinch that guy down below, you're making him use his tires more. The risk, though, is rubber builds up out there. The car's going to get harder and harder to rotate. You'll start sliding the front, and then that's when you'll start to probably eat up your right front.
Ooh, there we see a pass on the outside. That's 17. Sent it in deep, a little too deep, and the Dude Wipes machine fights back on the inside. That's Mark Fish. Remember, he won your Daytona 500, got in the playoffs right away, and, well, John, since then, I mean, at least he's in, but these past couple of weeks haven't been much to write home about. It's been tough for the 51.
It has, and I'm sure that he's itching to kind of be back up front, rebuild that confidence here. So he's got a long way to go to probably get what he would consider a good finish.
Courtney Nelson, he's been getting closer and closer here, but looky who, James Robinson on the bottom there. Still moving up that damaged race car. He's got MacArthur behind him, able to get out. Those guys just, they need to get a little bit of luck here. Maybe a caution fall at the right time because, John, damage maybe not going to affect you too much speed-wise, but it is going to lightly affect the handling of that race car.
Yeah, and what it will do, you might feel okay, but you're probably maybe putting more stress on tires. It increases your tire wear especially. But Josh is smart, and great drivers, when they have trouble, they figure out how to still get good finishes out of it. And that seems to be what Josh is doing right here.
And, you mentioned, Courtney Nelson, hang on to it. He gets in the inside wall. Caution flag flies. Oh, man, John. Lap 39, another caution. These tires, they are just putting up a fight here at Martinsville.
Well, this is a case of, we talked about it at the top of the show, if you get greedy on corner exit and you gas it up too quick, the back end of these cars do not stay in the track, and next thing you know, that right there what happened to Courtney Nelson, that's what happens. Nelson got lucky though. Normally when you do that, you knock the front of the car off, and it was a very very nice light smooch of the wall there, I would say.
Okay, Jerry doing a little bluff there in P2, but this is the mark. Okay, we got some guys diving in here. About, 7th place Lloyd Moore was in, I think, when he came in. And, John, this is that territory now. We're about maybe 5 laps short of a tank of fuel, but you know what a couple caution flags can do. And if you're coming in this early, do you think Lloyd Moore and now Josh Robinson, you see him coming in too? He's at the tail end of the lead lap. Is this the move? Is this maybe where they make their money?
Well, it very well could be, because now, we keep talking about we're waiting on that long green flag run. If we get that long green flag run and there's going to be green flag pit stops, 2/3 of this field are going to get caught a couple laps down. So until it cycles through, once they get caught at those laps down, if a caution comes out, yeah, this will pay off big time.
All right, producer, could I get you to pull down Lloyd Moore? I'd really love to question this guy. Hey, Lloyd, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
I absolutely love the strategy here. Do we think there's any chance we can go the rest of the way from here? Maybe hitting the wrong button, Lloyd.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, if it goes green for a while and stuff, then I think we'll be okay.
Hey, Lloyd, this is John up in the booth. Hey, I tell you, is that the play here? If you get the long green flag run to catch the field down?
100%.
Well, awesome, man. You know what? If it plays that out that way, we're going to talk to you a little bit later tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah, Tempo. I don't think I got a winning car, but we'll make it. We'll see if we can make this work.
Hey, that's the only way you're going to win, man. If you can't win by following everybody. So nice job there. Good call. And like I said, we'll be watching, see how it plays out. Good luck here.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
I absolutely love it, man. You just throw him up over your shoulder, let him hang out. That's the move. He said he didn't feel confident in the race car, John. So you got to go try to get positions. And, man, you're not a race car driver if you don't.
Nope, it's a good strategy. I actually think he's got a 50-50 shot of that working as we get the green flag here.
Yeah, Kotska with another good jump. And Ogle taking a peek here under Isaacs. We've seen Ogle. He had a quick race car, maybe felt a little pressure from the 51 before and let him go by, but he's one of those guys lets the track come to him, and he's got some speed. He completes the pass. Isaac, a little contact there with James Hislop, and he goes around, and we got a parking lot coming out of 4. Oh, hold your horses.
Boy, that track clogs up quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and I'll tell you, they're all able to get around before any of them go a lap down. That's a big deal, but yeah, it kicks off there with
contact between Hislop and Isaacs.
Yep, yeah, right there in the center of 3, kind of, and well, we saw it in the last caution, John. Some guys can see it, the other ones can, and you talked about it. They just all kind of. What was the exact race terminology we used there?
That's just right there is argument over space. I think both guys have the same thoughts there, and yeah, that just didn't work out. But good wreck avoidance with the rest of the field.
Yeah, and I mean, some of those guys who have been involved in those incidents, they've got to miss them. They're starting to add up, and now you got to think, Lloyd Moore, here's another free set of caution laps, just extending that length he can go. If we get a couple more of these, you may see those guys who just hit pit road, they may take over the driver's seat here in the long scheme of things.
Yeah, because if the field came in right now, I don't think there'd be much difference in the tires. So, yeah, they'll be in the catbird seat one way or another.
Still roll around here. Lights stay on. Not going to go back green just yet. Pace laps are quick. Somebody up next lap. Isaac's there. I saw him just getting off of pit road in time. That was a close call for him. You saw him there on the bottom of the screen. John, sometimes you want to go down there and get that damage in, but, is this a track where maybe Daytona, if you have 45 seconds worth of damage, you almost got to fix it. You don't want to go the lap down at some place like Daytona. But are you okay with going one lap down here to get the car fixed?
Not right now. There's a lot of cars a lap down, so I think it adds to you. If you can stay on the lead lap, that's what I would do. But if the car's really messed up and you're going to lose a lap anyway, you might as well get it done now.
And speaking of getting it done now, the drivers are doubling up. They're ready to go back and play again. We're going to be on lap 50 when we take the green flag. So a quarter of the way through here, and like I say, I was told by the trash man, Daniel Hill, I asked him before the race, he was telling me about 155 laps for a tank of fuel, so keep an eye on Lloyd Moore. Guys like that, got to be working the clutch here, save as much fuel under caution as you can. As Andrew gets set to enter the Geico restart zone. He has another phenomenal restart. Man, he is in control, and here comes James Hislop in the 92, making a move for second.
Yeah, that time Koska went late in the Geico restart zone, and that really jumbled up the field through 1 and 2.
John, normally, we've had a lot of long green flag runs, so we don't talk about that gamesmanship. But how important is it, you've been battling with a guy, you've got to change up that restart every time, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, whether you start, in the same spot or you clutch the car and rev it a little bit where somebody hears the engine go and, and they think you're going. And, yeah, there's a lot you can do up there.
Go back here. I see Larry Corey to the inside. Man, Ryan and I think alike. I glance over at that screen. That is the action. And Robinson now taking a peek underneath that code red machine. And remember, he's doing this with a lot of damage, John, but more importantly, he's on that lead lap now.
Absolutely. And that was big for him to get that lap back that quickly.
Now, you get to see a guy, there's another one, MacArthur there, a driver with some pace who, unfortunate incident there in the beginning, but you've got to find a way to make it on through. And Dwayne, one of the unlucky ones, he's still 2 laps down. So right now I'm trying to figure out, I believe Chris Walsh in 30th would be the lucky dog right now if we were to have another caution. But as my wife will tell you, I'm wrong all the time, so do not hold me to that whatsoever.
Yeah, MacArthur's turning some quick laps here, but an angry driver sometimes is a fast driver, and I'm going to bet it's probably a little irritated about what happened over in 3 and 4 a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, speaking of a guy maybe irritated, but rules are rules. I want to touch back on Andrew Medlin, the rookie. Triple-digit number started at the back, John. Welcome to 7th place. Andrew Medlin, if you haven't been paying attention to the 104 on your leaderboards, you need to start now because he is climbing.
Yeah, he has, and he's been doing it pretty smoothly too. He hasn't really put his car in any really bad positions. I've been watching him off and on, and he's been awful smooth out there.
And John, obviously we talk every week, fixed setups, but we do mention, there are things the drivers can change. And this is one of the few tracks where really drivers can affect the handling of their car pretty severely. You know, I mean, if the car starts to tighten up on you on corner entry, is there anything we can do with the brakes?
Yeah, you can dial the brakes, put more rear brake into it, more front brake into it even. Oh, we got one around. Oh, and I think you jinxed them.
Brian Lindsay around, and Andrew Thomas. Is he able to straighten this thing out before he goes a lap down? The answer is no, John. So he's the next victim, trapped a lap down. But we mentioned it, Chris Walsh. He's somebody who needed that caution. Welcome back to the lead lap, the driver of the 63. And you can see there, John, we've seen guys hit curbs. We've seen guys lose it being aggressive. But he got a little bit of help.
He got a lot of help by the 24 car there. I think Brian Lindsay, and I think he immediately recognized it because he just lets the field kind of go back, probably almost take a self-EOL there, it looked like.
And
He's
now Brian,
road now.
That's what I was just going to say, John. We think alike here. Geniuses, man. He's the first guy to hit pit road, and now you got to think, lap 60. I mean, even if we don't have the cautions that we've had, you can go the rest of the way. So while this maybe is, going here, check myself, calm down, I made a mistake. This could maybe end up being beneficial in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, if in fact it's a 155, I don't know, you tank of gas here, this gets you that in a green, white checkered, and I'm going to tell you, we're probably going to have a couple more cautions. So this could be the one and only stop here for him.
You see the 30, he did get his wave around back on the lead lap. Andrew Kotska still pacing the field. James Hislop, that's a guy you got to keep your eye on. Been pretty quick. The Raging Cajun Eddie Jones rolling around there in fourth, too. He's up 15 spots. Another big mover. I mean, Brian Lynch right behind him up 12. Fred Wolford the third there in the 95. He's up 15 as well. And John Hastings, another man. Lots of guys on the move. Started 31st, up to 11th. So a tough that proves hard to pass on. Sometimes you just got to put that helmet on and survive, John.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is here, survival. These guys have moved up through the field, and have done so by doing nothing other than racing clean, not getting themselves in any trouble, and avoiding the trouble when it's popped up.
John, some other tracks we talk about in the early stages, this may be where if you're James Hislop, you like being in third place. You don't make a move for second because you like the insides on the restart. Are you thinking that long term yet?
Oh, I would be. I'd definitely be staying there in third and saying, yep, I'm good here. Up until probably about 25 to go.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think you want to be there, give yourself a shot. But Andrew enters that restart zone. A late start once again, man. He has got these guys guessing. He's got them by a car length and a half here in the center of 1 and 2.
Yeah, the other thing about starting third, though, and Hislop's got to make the move. If you feel like you can get up there and get around that leader, you feel like your car is good enough, you've got enough laps now to figure out if you're better than him, then all bets are off. I would go up there and get after that leader so I can control the race.
James taking a peek here for P2. He's flirting with it. He had a good run off, but man, the 11 of Tom Ogle, he almost lost the rear end. He was defending P2 for his life there. He wants that bad, and that's maybe a case of where.
Oh, we got a spin in 3 and 4.
Oh, we got another one around 3 and 4, according to my man John Hine, and may have been the 18 of Bill Martin involved.
Yeah, a few others kind of came in there towards the end there and ended up with 3 or 4 cars up over around there.
Yeah, and Martin gets into him, and I think the interesting thing about that, John, we weren't on Bill Martin for that camera angle, but as he drives a little further there up the racetrack, disappears. So we have somebody hit the incident limit, I believe. They have the first victim.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was in one early on, and yeah, I'm watching guys pile into that. There's some guys that have had other incidents, so yeah. Yeah, Bill Martin's Bill Martin's got the X there. He's no longer being scored in the session. So, yep, that was it.
Yeah, and that's a case of, sometimes it just not even at the halfway stage in the race. And, I mean, that is the perfect example. We don't like to stress it, but you've got to keep an eye on that, even if it is not your fault. You could just be the victim of circumstance. But if you want a chance to bring the checkered flag home, you got to be here on the final lap. And that is a tough.
You hear it all the time, the saying, to finish first, you must first finish. If you can't finish, you ain't winning.
And it looked like, well, obviously the lights are on pit road there. You see them flashing red. Can't come down now. But last time, it looked like Kotska was maybe flirting with going, but I think when you don't have any takers behind you, that makes that decision pretty easy. He's, man, this is maybe one of the worst times to be in the lead, I think, John. And it's tough for me to say that, but you're almost, man, you're a sitting duck out there.
You are, but, at some point here, I think we're getting close to it. We get another caution 15, laps from now. You know what? I think you'll see a lot of takers come down to pit road.
Yeah, I think, if we get another one here, I mean, even 10 laps from now, as we get closer to that halfway mark, you got to think. I mean, we put a lot of pressure on these guys, but so does this racetrack. And, man, this is just going to be a tough one for a long green flag run, so you got to put yourself in a good spot. Andrew Kotska restarts again late, but this time, Tom, he had the blueprint, John. We got to race for the lead.
Yeah, Tom Mogul got a great start there on that restart. And I tell you, Kotska said sayonara through 1 and 2. He is really rolling the center of the corner better than anybody I've seen in the field.
And yeah, I mean, John, what could that be? Could it be using the brake a little more on corner entry, maybe picking up the throttle earlier than everybody else? Or is it maybe just, a little like what we like to call trail braking, maybe rotating in the center, and he's hitting the center at higher speeds than the rest of the guys?
If we get a chance to talk to him, we'll have to ask him that question. But from the looks of it, looks like he's backing the corners up. You doing a little bit of trail braking, but not much, and just letting off of it completely. And actually, it almost looks like he's picking up the throttle about the center of the corner and not really getting into it, but holding that throttle to maintain a speed through the corner.
Well, Courtney Nelson just saw his life flash before his eyes there. Sideways car. The Rusty's machine, he's going to lose 2 or 3 spots because of the checkup. He's stuck on the outside. But, man, that was a wild ride. Well, you've heard John and I say it. He wrecked without wrecking. I mean, that was as much of a wreck as that could have been, but he kept it straight, and hats off there. Now the 11 overdrives, we're seeing it, John. Guys maybe missing their braking points, and you got guys racing too wide in front of you. You're maybe not seeing on that spot on the wall that you're used to seeing. It sneaks you up on you a little fast.
It does, but you know what else can happen there is if you're starting to get somebody's timing down in front of you and they do something, they break 5 yards, 10 yards before what they have been, it will throw you off, and that can happen just as easily.
11 still stuck on the outside, but now we're taking a look at the 77 of Roger Hurley, who's got Josh Robinson behind him. Josh was almost dead last at one point in this race, involved in the early caution. He's fought himself up to 8, John. I mean, what a ride. He's showing why he is the defending champion.
Yeah, he's exhibiting a lot of patience and a lot of discipline coming through the field.
Man, Courtney going up that shelf again. He is using every inch of this racetrack. I didn't think we'd see guys go up that high in the corners, but he's having some success, I guess. I mean, overdriving it a little
11.
bit, but the caution flag waves one more time. I believe, John, you said the 11 involved Negus.
Yeah. Negus has got the 11 on there, but I don't think he's actually the 11 on the ticker.
Yeah, and this was a scary call here. I guess we don't have to sit here, Ryan, but you should sit here for a little bit if you don't mind, because look at the leader right there, John. Wow. Man, that was you got to be scared if you're Kotska. That was not what he wanted to see there. And let's see, the first leader to come down pit road, Roger Hurley, was in sixth place in the 77.
I was just going to say, if you don't go to the pits here, and by the way, Negus got up on that curb, and that's what caused that. But right now, the last thing you want to do is be one of those first 5 or 6 laps now that are caught out, because now you're losing track position because you have to pit. Those other guys don't. And what's worse, if this thing goes green, you are going to lose spot or lose laps when these guys don't have to pit again.
Let's pull up the leader here, Andrew Kotska. We gave him time. He didn't go down pit road. Let's see what he's got here, John. You want to go first whenever we get him up here?
Sure. Let me know when he's in here.
He's in here.
Hey, Andrew, this is John up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy, John.
All right, man. One thing I've seen you doing is you're rolling the center of the corner probably better than anybody on the track right now. How are you doing it? Are you backing the corner up, or are you trail braking? Are you? It almost looks like you're kind of picking the throttle up and holding it through the center, and just really hooking it. What you doing?
I think I'm going to give all my secrets away right now.
Well, they're in their cars. They're not. They can't hear you.
I'm sure some of these guys are listening to the broadcast right now, but yeah, just trying to get into the corner and trying to maintain a speed where I'm not getting the tires to kind of slide up underneath me, so I can try to get on the throttle as soon as I can there and get it pointed. So that's pretty much it. Nothing too special I'm trying to do out there.
With all these cautions,
anybody else.
All these cautions, Andrew, there's no chance that you're thinking about not stopping, is there? Is that what we're planning out now?
No, there's no chance I can make it to the end here, unless somehow we just have cautions all the way to the end. But no, I gotta probably pit here somewhere around halfway, I would assume.
All right, Andrew. Well, good luck, man. Go get him.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
So he's saying about halfway, so maybe he wants to just cut it. Maybe 155. Maybe that wasn't exactly accurate. Maybe that was early on when I talked to the trash man, because I don't know. I don't like the sound.
Well,
of that.
I think that's all changed with the amount of cautions. They're probably going to run 175 if that's the case by now.
Well, we're about to find out how long Andrew can go as the GOAT drops the hammer here. He leads us off into turn 1. Tom Ogle with a good run, but Andrew Medlin searching for some real estate up top. Couldn't find any good stuff, and now he's going to take a peek down low. James looking to shut the door.
Around he goes.
There's contact, and James.
He's out.
Yeah, you saw that disappearo. And we've got another victim, and I'll tell you what, John, I don't know if Josh Robinson got any incidents in this, but boy, he skated as close to the outside wall as he could, trying to avoid that. Man, oh man, contact up front. That could have been much worse than it was.
Yeah, it really could, and not really an aggressive mood. I mean, he kind of got on the Medlin there, kind of got on the curb there. Yeah, it looks like they both disappeared, both Medlin, and so. But that's really what caused that. But wow, another one.
Yeah,
we've got three of them. Lloyd Moore, Medlin, and Hillsop now all got the no longer being scored.
Yeah, and what's most unbelievable about that is those two were in the top 5, John. So that moves the man who we talked to earlier, Lloyd Moore, in that 26 machine. Where is he now? Was he involved in that? Lloyd Moore. Oh, so Lloyd Moore, he's one of the cars that disconnected in that. With incident points. Oh, tough break. Yep, he gets caught up in the back in a separate incident. He actually goes down on the grass in 3 and 4, John. I just rewinded it to try to miss the accident, and just getting in the grass, that 1X, that was enough.
Yeah, that's always a bit tough to take there, but I mean, it is what it is, and good news is Darlington's only a week away.
Man, they call that place the Lady in Black. Is it good news? We'll talk about
probably
that
true.
later. But that is another racetrack. Like I say, guys, we will talk about that later. But that,
You know, Zach, I think Koska's in trouble here. I think that, you know, while he's faster, I think this pit strategy, I really do think it's gonna be bite him here, because I don't know that these other guys from 7th, 8th on back are gonna have to pit again.
Yeah, Josh Robinson last pit on lap 40 as well, sitting there in 3rd place with all these cautions. I really like the look of that 23, which would be an unbelievable story if he brings this home after the opening lap he had. But the green flag drops. We're back underway. Lap 88.
Robinson got a great jump.
And man, Josh, he's trying to take advantage of it. That right front all beat up, but he's just gonna bide his time here, wait for it in 3rd place. I mean, when you know those two in front of you have to pit, John, really, how hard do you need to go?
Yeah, and you know, we don't know exactly what the number is there, but yeah, if he can get to the end here and then save his stuff here, Josh is going to go back to back unless somebody behind him can catch him.
Yeah, definitely not rooting for another caution here, but that's the man who we got to pull up next just to see what's going through his head there in the 23, if he can make it the rest of the way. Because, well, the guy behind him, you know, too, if we're talking about Josh making it, Isaacs, he pitted 6 laps later. He went down the pit road lap 46, so he is even closer. You gotta think, man, he's got enough to go the rest of the way.
Yeah, the big question is, do the tires hold that long? You know, you put a lot of stress on that right front tire through the corners there, and I forgot to check tire wear when I was practicing. So that's going to be the $1 million question: is how well does that right front hold?
It definitely will see some wear and tear, especially as we get down to when the pay window opens up and guys start really using up everything they have. I think Josh, though, and Jerry, they're teammates. They mentioned that before. They're probably just biding their time. And their other teammate right up the road, Tom Ogle, I think, John, he's sitting in that Kotska camp. I just don't know, even if you get those fresh tires, with there being this much traffic, you got to watch out for incident points. I just don't know if you can make that climb late.
Yeah, we're working lap 94 now. He was talking around lap 100, so I mean, obviously I think he'll go a little further. I don't think he's going to pit under green until he absolutely has to.
Yeah, I think at that point, you know, you've pretty much called yourself out of this one if you've got to come pit under green. And it's amazing, you know, some weeks we saw Andrew win his first race with excellent fuel strategy, and now you know, we may see the fuel strategy come back and on him. You can be Superman one week, and you can be the villain next week.
Yeah, by 2 different strategies. Last week, Robinson ran long, so he kind of did the overcut while everybody else was pitting early and made it work. And now this is a big-time undercut for as early as he had to come to pit road. And looks like that's going to work, too. I think a while back, I think Kevin Harvick described Jimmy Johnson as having a golden horseshoe stuck up. Everybody can use their imagination. So right now, that golden horseshoe looks like it's falling on that 23 car.
Yeah, we all know you meant the gas tank there. Is, you know, we've got 26 cars now, John. We won the racetrack still. Started with 36, and I mention it every single week. These guys, they're all about their green flag runs. And is this due theory? Is this when it comes? Because, man, yeah, those 2 out front, they are going to get burned.
Yeah, and they're starting to see lap traffic up the road from them, too, here. So they're going to have to start working traffic probably in the next 5, 6, maybe 10 laps or so.
And, you know,
we're getting ready to come halfway, yeah.
Yeah, we're coming up on one of our longer green flag runs here, too, and we've seen guys start to slip and slide. They've gotten deeper into the run here. I mean, we've had some time to learn the race car a little bit, but, you know, John, something we always talk about, you know, as we race, track temperatures are going to get hotter, and that's not going to help the handling of the race car.
Not at all, but I'll tell you, this field does have that look of a long green flag. This field is spread out way more than what I have seen from on top of the press box up here. Yeah, they are way more spread out.
Right now, from what I can see, I know our broadcast or our producer there, he brought it up before, but I want to take a look at it one more time if you can, Ryan. Those pit stops. So I believe, and he can verify in my ear, but 4 of the guys in the top 10 here haven't come down pit road. Am I correct, Ryan? 5 of them. So I'm incorrect. See, that's what you need him for math. But that is really going to shake things up here if we go, I mean, they were saying we'll hold Daniel to it 150. You got to think, I mean, John, you mentioned about what, maybe 170, 175 with all the cautions. I know that is a long, long way away, but I just can't help. Go up in the blimp camera, and it is just everyone is strung out, like you mentioned. And if there's going to be an accident, it's most likely going to be somebody causing it themselves.
Yeah, straight up conveyor belt now. Cars all the way around as the leaders have pretty much caught the back of the pack here. The leaders are probably maybe about 6-7 car lengths behind the back of the pack.
Mark Fish getting up out of the way. This is the double file racing you're seeing. He lost the spot to the 77 and then the 83 of MacArthur, who is still a couple laps down, so no big deal there. This position as well, that is a battle for position. That's Andy Thomas on the inside, and we saw Andy, he was involved in a caution earlier, but after a little contact with the inside wall, John, not going that fast. That thing looks pretty good. I mean, we talk about these things being durable.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, though, who really wants that caution is Koska, because, with 106 laps in, we've seen Robinson come from the back, and it took him about 100 laps to get back to the front. So if they can get a caution here, there may be enough time for them to kind of work their way through the field. But now time is ticking. He's either needs that caution or he's going to be in a world of trouble.
Now, I know, John, we haven't had a super long green flag run here, but we do see the tire wear. It does add up a little bit. If we get a caution here and the top 2 come down pit road, you're Josh Robinson, are you committed to maybe a 1-stop, or do we think about, I raced my way up to 3rd. Let's get those tires. Let's be on the even footing with the leaders.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I don't know what I would do. I mean, if anything else, I might come in and be bold enough to try just taking right sides only. You gain a little bit of time that way, maybe jump them in the pits.
You're seeing it here. He's coming up on the zoo here in Virginia. It is going to be nuts. I mean, you got Mark Fish. He won at Daytona. I mean, we're lapping winners now, John. This is getting into a longer green flag run.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's impressive. He's lapping guys that have much fresher tires that have been out there, that have probably already come to pit road and haven't been out there nearly as long as they have on their tires, but they're picking them up, laying them down.
Yeah, you tried to get in there, but he was locked up. He wouldn't pry open, give us any of that knowledge. But man, you talk about some guys being a tire whisperer, John. He is one of them. We've seen him long green flag run after long green flag run so far this season. He's always quick.
Well, and his key is, and I kind of picked up on it in that interview, what he's doing is he's holding that foot solid. He gets that car driving forward, and then his foot stops on that gas pedal, so he just rolls the corner while it still has forward drive, and that is what's making him so fast. That is actually a technique I use on dirt that works really well.
Now, I really am. I'm not playing dumb here, John. Are we talking about 2-footing it then at that point, basically?
Well, you 2-footed on the entrance, but in the middle of the corner, you got 1 foot off the gas or 1 foot off the brake, but you've got that gas pedal maybe 30%, and you hold it at 30% until you get that car pointed, then you roll back into it.
I know, I struggle doing that, but in videos that I watch, a lot of people say that that's real important for weight transfers, that if you get the whole way out of the throttle, you kind of upset the weight, and it's real tough to rotate the car. So do you think that's the big difference here for him?
Yeah, I do. I think the fact that he's keeping the momentum, the guys could be lifting out of it, but I'm sure there's more than Koska that's doing it. But that, when he said it, though, that's kind of what perked my ears up. And I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure that's how he's doing it. And sorry, Andrew, if I'm giving any secrets out.
You see that 95, who it was on the screen there, Fred Wolford. I glanced back over. We swapped her up. Now we got the 9, the Hooters ride on there, Brian Lynch. Now the 17. Ryan is making me do some work here tonight. Let's see who we got on the 17. Gotta go over here and cheat till I know all these guys' names. I should know that by now. Lucky Larry, man, he drives that DW paint scheme. And we just saw a little tire smoke there from the 11. Now, John, obviously no big deal there, but what do you do when you're behind a guy that locks up the tires? Because there is really nowhere to go. Do you just lock them up yourself and maybe say a prayer?
You say the prayer before you lock them up.
Andrew Kotska. Man,
they just went around Medlin, who was, what, top 5, top 10 not too long ago.
Yeah, they are putting the damage on the field here, that's for sure. I know we've got...
Yeah, but I guarantee it, Zach, they're getting real nervous here because all this work is going to go away if they got to dive pit road on a hot track.
No, you're exactly right. And, I mean, you know, you touched on it before. I think this is a case of, you know, if you're Kotska and Tom, all right, maybe the writing's on the wall, this thing's going to go green. So do you think maybe they're just using every ounce of these tires? You got to try to get as much on the racetrack before you go down pit road?
Yeah, but I mean, sure, but the danger of doing that is then all of a sudden you use your tires up before you're ready to pit. And, oh, we got one that really out of shape down the front stretch.
11 machine, but able to gather it back in. No caution flag.
I think that was Negus. I don't think that's quite the 11.
Yeah, Negus runs that 11 paint, and it throws me off every time. But Lucky Larry there, he got a little lucky. He saw he had to drive it in a little top heavy there to avoid Negus. Didn't get in the wall, but did lose the spot. Seeing Andrew Kotska. And the next car up the road is that 77 of Roger Hurley, John. He's in 15th. We're approaching lapping the top 15 here.
Yeah, now the saving grace for him is going to be the fact he's lap 15 cars, so he can get his pit. He's not going to go to the back. He's going to have a lot of guys still lining up behind him. So, you know what? If he can lap up to about 10th place and they get a caution, that means he's going to restart somewhere in the top 10.
And, you know, it's almost, it's good, but he's cursing himself at the same time because these guys he's putting the lap down. Well, Josh Robinson isn't that far back the road here, only 3 seconds. So he's clipping them off too, John, and if these guys have to make green flag pit stops, that is all the more guys they're fighting for the lucky dog with. So if they do not get a caution, man, oh man, they're going to wish they could hit the rewind.
And let me throw this in for a bit of drama if there is a caution. Their last lap, Koska's last lap was a 2022. Qualifying, he ran a 1952, so almost, you know, about what, 0.7 of a second slower. And you know what, if he dove in there and got new tires, that might bring some guys in front of him that might think, hey, I've got to pit, or Koska's just going to drive right around us. So that might force those top 7 to all pit.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, we didn't really talk about it. We did say we could see some passing done on the high side, and you may think, oh, I'm just going to protect the bottom. Well, John, you know as well as I do, somebody out there in new sneakers, they'll go driving around that top side like you are sitting still. So
yep,
you're going to have to make that rear end real wide if you want to win this thing with old sneakers. But boy, the 105 gets up out of the way there in the 77, and I believe the code red machine there. But here comes your leader, Andrew Kotska. Gonna be clicking him down here, Luke Lane. He's gonna have some company here.
Boy, I'm really dying to see how long they can go without pitting. I mean, if our calculations are right, I mean, you know, with all the cautions, everything else, that 165, I mean, so there's still quite a ways before I think he's in real trouble. And like I said, right now the green flag laps, ironically, are his best friend because he keeps putting people a lap down. And the more he does that, the further to the front he gets if we get that timely caution that he's praying for at this point.
Yeah, I want to play devil's advocate, though, to that because, you know, he's got such a pace, John, that and we know the gentlemanship in this league. I mean, if the leader's coming, they're not going to race him hard, especially, you know, nothing on the line. Does that kind of hurt you? Because Andrew's breaking up these battles. I mean, you see him racing hard, 3 wide in front of him, and when Andrew comes up, you see he just stays up on the outside, and maybe they calm down a little bit when they see the leader coming, and that might be his curse. He needs a caution. He needs him to be aggressive.
Yeah, you got one on pit road, so I don't know if it's a fuel thing, tire thing, just maybe he got into something there, so 63 is on pit road.
Yeah, Chris Walsh was already
on pit road.
Lawrence Childs coming down pit road. So those are guys that had, I believe, hit earlier. So I'm not too sure. I wouldn't think they'd need fuel.
Well, Torrance went up on the jack, so he's wanting some new sneakers.
I'm trying to take a look.
Oh,
man, yeah. Andrew in the middle. That's your leader. Splitting lap cars. That's the boss man. And, you know, John, I said it earlier. Victor, I mean, you got to put up some sort of fight. I don't make him the bad guy here. You know, you want to stay on the lead lap. That's
exactly right. Now, once he gets lapped, you know, you probably don't give that second guy in line quite as hard of a time. But, yeah, that leader, you can't just roll over here and then go that lap down, especially this late in the race.
Yeah, and especially, you know, you saw those guys behind him like Luke Lane kind of just pull on by. Well, he was sniffing there behind Tom Ogle, and he almost makes the pass on Luke Lane, on Victor Lane, sorry. And now Luke, he almost had a big send there under Victor, but he rode it back up the hill. Those guys are racing for position, and, you know, hearing Kotska, or if Kotska's listening, if he hears our voice get raised, he's going to start getting excited, hearing that they're battling, and, man, just up the road, that one machine almost gets into the Rusty's machine. Man, I don't know, John. I know we talked about a long green flag run, but, man, the gloves are coming off here. It's starting to get physical.
Well, I don't know if it's intentionally getting physical, but these cars are probably not handling the way they want them to at this point. They've been out there now for a while on those tires.
No, and realistically, you know, John, you know how tough it is. You can want to be disciplined and you can want to practice the race car, you know, and be competitive, but to go out there by yourself at Martinsville, and they're coming up on, you know, over 50 laps green flag. That's tough to go out there and, you know, as much as you want to go out there and test tire wear and really see what you got, you know, that takes discipline, and not everybody's got that.
Yeah, and the other thing about it, too, you got fuel burn, so you know what, that's going to change the balance of the car, everything else. So not only are the tires changing, your grip levels are changing, but how your car handles, you know, so you're dealing with a lot of stuff behind the wheel right now, and these guys are doing a good job of holding it together and clicking these laps off.
Kotska's still clicking them off there. You see him get another one. Fred Wolford there, he dives under that Rusty's machine, and then Roger Hurley right up the road. He's that next car fighting to stay on the lead lap. If you remember, I mean, he hit the panic button. I had mentioned him being in 15th, John. That next car a lap down. He's clicked off a couple in front of him. But man, oh man, the storm's coming, and he's next here. But maybe got another storm brewing. Luke Lane on the outside here. Gets plenty of room. They maybe touch a little bit in the center of the corner. Can't get in the throttle. And now we see that Irwin machine. He's got that blue thing rolling on the bottom.
Yeah, but they're still side by side there, and that's that increases the chance of a caution anytime guys are doing that.
Side-by-side racing just ahead of the leader and Roger Hurley there. Remember, that 77 fighting to stay on the lead lap. And right up the road, that's Chris Bates. So he's the next one. And I believe, yeah, Greg McDaniel in the one car as well. So Roger here, he's getting these guys out of self-preservation. He's picking them off, and then Kotzka's following them on by.
Yeah, and Kotzka's now, he's got a few cars ahead of him here, but we're at 145, and the number we were given is 155, and you got to figure 2 to 1 for cautions, and so you got to figure 165, maybe 170.
Yeah. I mean, he looks over at that hourglass. There is not much sand left in it before he's got to come down pit road, and the sun's starting to shine on that 23 of Josh Robinson, who will inherit the lead if we have green flag pit stops. But one of those things that I want to mention here, if we do get the caution, if you're Josh, I think you got to come down pit road, even though you want to take the lead. I mean, that tire fall off that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So severe. I mean, Kotzka's almost into 4s now, John. 20.38 last night.
Yeah, at this point, I would most definitely, no matter where I'm at, go ahead and get the rubber. At least I would get the right side, because you don't have to take a full tank of gas here, so you don't want to spend all that time in pit road. Keep that car light. I would just go with right side tires.
Kotzka just put the 10th place car of Greg McDaniel a lap down, and as they cross the stripe here, Alan Wanamaker, I call him the 9 ball. He runs the 9 in another league, but sitting in 9th place, he's going to be next on the list. So Alan going to have to get those horses rolling here if he doesn't want to become the next victim.
Yeah, and the further up towards the front you get, the harder these passes get. But the Kotzka's credit, Luke Lane is going down pit road, but yeah, the Kotzka's credit, he is still picking them up, laying them down with little problem.
No, and guys like this have always blown my mind, John. I kind of say it about Steven Spies, a teammate of ours, but how, I understand the concept of saving tires, but boy, when I do it, I'm about 2.5 tenths off that pace. And guys that can save the tires but put down the speed, man, they are so rare. And I think we've uncovered one here in the OBRL. Andrew Kotzka, man, he is a diamond.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this movie before over in one of our other leagues we broadcast with J.R. Shepard, who's a colleague of ours now in the VGM booth. But yeah, the guys that can really maximize their tires, God, they are such a big advantage. We got a couple on pit road here, so it looks like they're not in any hurry to leave. So.
Yeah, coming up here, we're passing the pit road entrance right now, and coming up on lap 154, excuse me. It has got to be coming here soon, I'd imagine within the next 15 or so laps. And no rain yet here at Martinsville, but boy, he's wishing we could get shortened by rain here. This is going to be tough for him to come down pit road.
Well, this is one of the tracks where they were prepared to run a rain tire today. So I don't know if iRacing's followed suit. So I don't know if they put the rain tires on in iRacing to do it, but wouldn't that be fun?
And I could imagine this racetrack already a handful. These guys, they would be having fun out there. They're slipping and sliding. We may have had a couple more hit that 9X limit though, John. You know how I do in the rain. It can be quite the show sometimes.
Yeah, I absolutely love driving in the rain, so I'd have fun.
Right now, Guarisco here, he's going to be the next man on the sheet. Driver of the 28. He just went across the starter stripe, leader going across now. So about half a finish, or about half a straightaway, but at the pace Andrew's got, that's going to be no time at all. But I think, you just got to worry about right now. I mean, if the caution flag flies, obviously, John, you want to be in front of that leader. But in the grand scheme of things, you want to stay on the lead lap here late. I think we might get a late caution.
Whoa! Kotzka almost was the caution. Wow. Towards the middle of the front stretch there last time around.
Man, and then now you get some clean track in front. Going to have to use that while he's got it. But after a scare like that, and you got to come down pit road, You know, it had to cross his mind there, John, but I guess just too much is at stake right now. You got to wait until you can't go anymore.
Yeah, you have to. You've made your bed. You got to lie in it now. So now it's a matter of running it until you're gonna run out. I mean, we're at 159, getting ready to go to 160. So we're definitely on borrowed time now. Those cautions. We're on the caution fuel.
And what I would do for SDK, Ryan, to manipulate us a live fuel gauge, but I guess they won't. So if we broadcast it other leagues, we could cheat and siphon that information out. I am begging to know how close he is on fuel. And there, Kotska, I'm still watching him, John. He got loose again out of 4.
Yeah, you got to think those tires.
Feeling it.
He's almost on his rims, I would think, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you know, especially modern day NASCAR with the way they stint. I mean, 161 laps, obviously some of them caution, but on one set of tires, what he's doing is absolutely unbelievable. The fact that he's even been able to save those wrecks on old tires is pretty crazy, but we're on lap 162, coming to 163, and the top two drive right by the pit road once again.
Yeah, oh, we said it, though. They cannot pit until until they can't make it another lap.
No, I did ask him, and the producer putting the bug in our ear, I did ask him, you know, I mean, John, with the way he was trying to lock up, I don't think he would truthfully admit if he could go the rest of the way, but I don't think we got enough cautions to give us that extra quarter of the race. I mean, 45 laps, that's asking a lot to save under those cautions.
I didn't count the caution laps. You know what? If we got about 30 caution laps, you know, there's an outside chance, I think, because if I'm thinking correctly, for every 2 laps under caution's worth 1 lap under green. So if we got that 26, 30 laps of cautions, it's going to be close.
And I mean, you know, he's developed that kind of lead. Not much fuel saving you can do here, but I guess you could do a little lift and coast. I mean, he's got some open track, and you know, we do have some guys who talked about it at some other races, and this is maybe one where it can help you, John. You know, is that
got a caution on the front stretch, Luke Lane.
Oh, constant flag waves, John.
That's gonna.
Man, Andrew Kotska, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna find out who he prays to, because they answered it. Luke Lane there just gets into the side of the 17, and
the 17 just drives down the track and probably surprised Lane, and wow, that's gonna cost Lane there, because he looked like, yep, I can confirm he's another one that fell victim to the 9 incidents.
Yeah, and Courtney Nelson, John, let's take a look at that, Ryan. Click on Courtney Nelson's car. That is beat up. He was on the lead lap in that 78 machine. He was involved in that caution. Oh, man. He's still rolling, but I don't know. I don't like
Boy, everybody's pitting.
Yeah, he came in front of the leaders, so it took him a while to straighten that thing up. He did go a lap down, maybe just didn't register yet. There it goes. Yeah, he's a lap down. He's going to be on pit road for a while. But Andrew Kotska, still your leader. Let's watch the race off pit road. Can Tom Ogle win the battle, John? It's a longer pit road, and Tom Ogle got him. You talked about how the pit road doesn't end right at the wall, and Tom Ogle absolutely stole this thing. That could be a big deal. Let's see here. Do we have time maybe to pull up the driver of the 51, Jerry Isaacs? Quite the event tonight. Let's see what's going on down in the world of the 51.
Let's bring Ogle up, see how close he was on fuel.
All right, okay, fine. You win this one. Let's bring up Ogle. Hey, Tom, Shaggy in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
How close were we, Tom? How close were we to having to make that green flag pit stop?
To pit in, I think, 13 or 14 laps. I was close.
Yeah, so you guys were really pushing the envelope. I'll let John hammer a couple questions out here with you.
Sure.
Yeah, the other question I have is what kind of tire wear did you have at that point?
I had fallen off, but I was like 94s.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, all right. Well, hey, business at hand here. You're pulling up to the pace car. We're getting ready to go here, but
Sorry, I'm not more talkative.
yep, no, you're good, man. Good luck here, and we'll see you.
All those cars getting the wave around threw me off there. I didn't think we were 1 to green yet, but they finally double up. We're ready to go back and play here on 30 laps.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are half a track and didn't even get a chance to get caught up.
Tom Ogle absolutely storms out to a big lead, but he overdrives the center of one, and Kotska gets a good run coming off the corner. Going to reel in that fishing line a little bit. He is close to the deck lid now. John, obviously Kotska led most of the race, but Tom was pretty close there in P2. If you're Andrew, do you get aggressive with new tires, or do you maybe wait this thing out a little bit?
You know what? We're talking 28 laps to go. You go. The pay window's open. You got to go.
Yeah, 22nd laps. I mean, that's going to be no time, and I think Tom Ogle maybe heard you here. He extended the gap a little last lap. Kotska opened
he's driving it. He's driving it like he stole it.
Yeah. Just the fastest lap of the race there last time by, John, a 19.41. What did we see in qualifying, you said?
Oh, they were 19.58. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're going to rotate back and forth here. Kotska takes the fastest lap, but we got a lap
Oh, we got one around.
pulling out of the pits here.
That one on the middle of the
now
stretch.
the caution flag flies. Wolford, I believe, Fred Wolford the third there in the 95 Rust-Eze
That
machine.
just came around on him.
And, you know, John, I think, you know, obviously back towards the back a little bit, but you see the guys, I mean, you've been hearing us yell off purple lap after purple lap. Guys starting to speed up a little bit. So maybe, you know, just getting a little aggressive in that throttle, not used to.
Yep, gotta go. Pay window's open. You can't mess around now. You've got to play your cards on the table and run.
And another one, you know, not to hammer him down here, but I think he was able to stay on the lead lap, but he is going to lose some spots. No, he's going to get him back. It's allowing him to go back. As Crisco's driving around the outside, but after the caution flag came out, he tried to woe it up there in 3 and 4, and he looped it around all by himself. Didn't hit anything, and, you know, I would think John get a couple laps here, should be able to calm the tires back down, but that is going to make him angry.
Yeah, that definitely will. But yeah, those caution laps, you're gonna get everything back down. So, but man, we're gonna have a barn burner of a finish here.
And Weininger gets back on the lead lap. He's going to have to start at the tail end, though, John. That is a long line, being that lucky dog.
Yeah, we still, and keep in mind, we only have 10 cars on the lead lap at this point, too. So there's not a whole lot of guys that are on that lead lap got a shot to win at this point. So, yeah, very few cars on the lead lap that have got a shot at this. But those 10 guys, I would say at this point, any one of them, just with as hard as what these guys are driving, any one of these guys have a shot.
And you got to wonder, too. I mean, obviously, you know, the guys, they're clean. It's been nothing but great racing. But it is Martinsville. Is maybe Josh Robinson sitting in the catbird seat if the guys in front, you know, start getting a little physical.
If I'm Robinson, I'm tickled to death where I'm at after how his day started. But he's one of those guys on that ticker. What is in yellow? Is that the rule?
Yes, sir.
So Ogle's trying to become yellow.
Yeah, and, you know, those guys around him know that. And, you know, the ones behind some teammates there in row 2. But that guy to the outside, he doesn't care. He wants to win the third one of the season here. And
yeah, and if you're yellow, that means you're locked in and you won. Well, this is interesting. What? That's a very interesting lineup.
Yeah, guys having trouble lining up here, so this maybe not good here, but the green flag waves, so they're dropping the hammer. Tom Ogle gets a good restart.
Wow.
Josh Robinson pushes up there a little bit in the center of 1 and 2. Isaacs has to go a little wide, but they're all okay. Top 4 in line. Actually, add the 74 there of Alan Wanamaker. Welcome to the top 5.
Yeah, a lot of black flags happened there on that start. I don't think those guys were in line properly. Yeah, you got 3 guys coming to pit road doing drive-throughs.
Yeah, and that's always a tough break. You know, nothing you can do, and the guy in front of you is kind of backing off late, and you're that man call it out. But, you know, going to benefit you one week, maybe hurt you the other. I've definitely been on both sides of that coin, as I know you have as well.
Yep. But, you know, I tell you, this lead here between the top 2, you know, Ogle's not stretching it. Koska's staying right there, and the laps are ticking away.
And if you're Kotska, you know, I mean, you don't want to go in there and you don't want to drive too hard, but we're watching that 11 float up in the center of the corner, and you gotta find a way to maybe push that nose under there in the center. But you see the brakes pads absolutely glowing on that 40 machine, and man, he is trying.
Ogle is going up the track, but man, he is getting a heck of a run off the corners. Right there, he pulls Koska all the way down the backstretch.
And, you know, I mean, obviously, we got some fenders. You can rub a little bit without any incident points. You maybe, you know, going down the backstretch, maybe try, if you get to the inside, go scrub a little speed off that guy on the outside, because as the run gets longer and longer, it's going to be harder to keep that fast off.
Yeah, it is going to get a lot harder, but you know what, though? Those guys I believe they're teammates, so you know what? They're not going to, I don't think they're going to do anything to each other here to mess each other's race up.
And I think you heard me leaning away a little bit there, cracking the back, man. This is quite the day in this chair. And Tom Ogle, he is having a good one in his chair as well. We're coming to 15 laps to go, John. We're on lap 186 here. Not a lot of time. And Kotska, no. you mentioned it, that gap, it is not, I mean, it's not closing in. Tom is just keeping it right where he wants it.
Yeah, Ogle has got this race well in hand here at this point. He's going to need a slip up here, but Koska, even if Ogle overdrives the corner, I don't know that Koska's close enough to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, we'd seen Tom a little bit there in the center, sometimes overdrive, but he just wasn't close enough. And now, if anything, he's opened it back up to that half-second mark. So, I mean, Andrew, he is going to need some serious help here in these closing laps if he wants to bring it on home. But right now, not much of a battle either for 5th. I've been trying to keep an eye on Alan Wanamaker there. He's got a good run going. I mean, started 21st up to 5th. He's not really close enough to Isaacs and not really close enough to Brian Lynch there. He's got a nice little security blanket there in 5th. We're coming up here, 11 to go as we're set to take lap 190. Leaders cutting under the lap car, the 101.
Caution, yeah.
And we get another caution. John, we're going to have a
stretch.
6-lap shootout here. See that 9 machine? So he was right behind Leininger.
Yeah, not on the gas too hard.
Clipped that apron just a little bit too, and you know that was I just mentioned him. He was running around in 6th. And Hurley as well there in 7th. He backed down.
And the 77 just pulled out in front of Victor Lane too. So another completely unnecessary incident point there, but yikes.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, definitely a little frustration after that, you know, just trying to straighten it up and make sure you stay on the lead lap. But it's tough for Victor. I mean, you see that 42, it kind of comes to a stop for him. And, you know, John, it's almost like when that person waves you to go at the 4-way stop, even when it wasn't their turn to do so. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, we're getting down to it. Inside 10 to go. Koska's got one more shot at this to try to get a good start here and throw something at him. I don't think those front two seem to be the class. I don't think Robinson or Isaacs, they quickly pulled away from those other guys.
Now, interesting to see. I wanted to look, and there is one driver here, tail end of the lead lap, Greg McDaniel. John, do you make this move? You're running towards the back of the lead lap. Let's go get some fresh tires, see if I can pull off 100%. Maybe 3 or 4.
100%.
Yeah, I definitely. I want to keep. We'll have to keep an eye on that Cartoon Network machine, Greg McDaniel. I like his move here in that stage because while, you know, John, you're probably not going to go win the race from 9th, you know, you could possibly get all the way up to maybe 5th here if everything goes right.
Yeah, if you can pick up another spots, last couple of season points-wise, people that made the chase. I mean, it gets tight towards the end of the year. Who's gonna run for a championship? Who's not? So here early on, you know, get after it and get every point. But I tell you, Cartoon Machine, he's gonna have a heck of a time getting back to his spot. He might be at the tail end of the field when they go green.
Yeah, and you know, that's another one that may get some guys in trouble here if he can't get up there. So not rooting for it.
He almost knocked down the wall trying to catch him.
Tom Ogle, though, man, he ain't going to wait up. He's ready to go get this thing. He's got 7 laps between him and the checkered flag, or 6, yeah, 7 laps. 194 is underway. Tom Ogle with a good jump here. Kotska with a good restart. Thought maybe we'd see a little bump there in the center of the corner, but nothing, and we're under caution. John, I think, and now obviously I'm not the smartest guy, but it's about 6 laps. We may get a natural green-white checkered attempt here when we go back.
Yeah, no, this is, yeah, the 17, Larry Corey just got in too hot, it looked like, and he turned around the 60.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, we've seen some late moves too today, but a late move there into a 3 wide, definitely, yeah. I don't think was on the books. And that's why I think I'm leaning with you, John. Maybe call it out. Maybe the 60 got on the brakes a little earlier than he's used to, because that's not going to be a move we see work here at Martinsville.
No, and you got to also take into consideration the angle you're hitting the corner too. You know, if you take a bad angle, then you're going to have a hard time even getting the car to turn. So there's a lot going on. Low percentage kind of deal there, but you know, a little bit of a checkup, and so just probably just a racing deal there.
And Chris Bates, he gets the wave around there. That'll put the top 10 back on the lead lap. Now, you know the deal. Tail end of the longest line. He's going to need another one here if he wants to go battle for position, I think. But still, after, you know, going a lap down, John, I think most drivers would take bringing home the top 10.
Yeah, I think I would too. And I don't know why those guys are all running down along the inside wall, because you want to be up where the groove, and they're letting the lucky dog, I guess, go. But I don't know if I'd have got down that close to the wall and get all that crap on your tires. And these guys are going to have some, probably need to be scrubbing the tires a little bit to make sure that they're clean when they go green here.
Yeah, especially after, you know, I mean, we had caution flags, but that long green flag run there, we definitely saw the rubber getting thrown off the tires there.
Yeah.
Some of those views, it is going to build up. And when you go out there at low speed with your warm tires and pick up all that junk, you're going to have a fun ride going into 1. The drivers double up here, and we are going to have that green-white checkered attempt. We're on lap 198. When we come back, we'll be on lap 199. Now, the interesting thing about that is, John, if the drivers, you know, get the gloves off here, this one won't count as the attempt. So, going to have time for at least one more if some accident would happen. Pace car dives off into 3 and 4. We are set for 1 mile here at the Martinsville Speedway. Can Tom Ogle punch his ticket to the playoffs, or can Kotska upset him and get a run on the outside? Good jump for Tom Ogle as we're back underway. Isaac's almost got to the back of the 40 there, but Kotska able to cut down in that little hole, and we're running out of time here. We got 6 corners to go. White flag in the air, this time by Andrew Kotska, all over the back of the 11 of Tom Ogle as he drives it in deep, possibly trying to cut it up.
Yep, these guys are coming around to get the checkered flag here, and it looks like it's got to be Tom Ogle. He's going to bring it home. Kotska second, and Josh Robinson holds on to third.
What a time for my finger to slip off the button. John, you are the man for calling that amazing finish there. And Tom Ogle, oh man, punching his ticket to the playoffs. You know this has been a long wait for that 11. Johnny's been up in the top 3 in almost every race we've called, but it just hasn't gone his way up until now.
Yeah, and you got to give a shout out to Robinson too, though. I mean, you know, that trouble early on, and he just stuck with it and brings her back home on the podium.
Yeah, he treats his friend there to a little side donut there at the victory lane. Teammates celebrating, and well, with that, we're going to let them take a break, catch their breath here, and we'll come back with our top 3 for interviews and read off the finishing order here at the Martinsville Speedway. Stick around. We are back live on the Virtual Grip Network, and man, it was 200 laps of non-stop action. A couple precautions in the beginning, but with a field of 36 cars, I mean, can't really expect much else here at the half-mile track of Martinsville. Let's go ahead, let's take a look at that finishing order. Tom Ogle bringing home the checkered flag for the first time this season and stamping his place in the OBRL playoffs. Congrats to Tom Ogle, Andrew Kotska, a close P2. And Josh Robinson, after John had mentioned it there at the end, what an up and down race for this guy. I mean, he was literally second from last after the first caution. And for him to rebound and finish on the podium, this is one that if he brings home the championship, you look back at Martinsville and it's runs like this that win you trophies. Jerry Isaacs 4th, Alan Wanamaker 5th, Brian Lynch 6th, Roger Hurley 7th, Daryl Weininger 9th, and rounding out the top 10 and the lead lap cars, Chris Bates.
Coming home 11th, the first car a lap down is going to be Victor Lane. Fred Wolford finishes 12th, followed by Andy Thomas. Scott Negus and Larry Corey is going to come home 15th. Tom Massey 16th. Michael Dow 17th. Mark Fish 18th. 19th will be Torrance Childs. And Nicholas Self come home 20th.
Briscoe Robert Guarisco comes home 21st in the blackjack spot. Courtney Nelson 22nd after he was running there in the top 5, but involved with that caution late, and well, that ended up parking his night. Luke Lane 23rd, John Hastings 24th, Chris Walsh 25th, Dwayne MacArthur 26th, James Hislop 27th, Andrew Medlin, we saw he was pretty quick there, but DQ'd out with James Hislop in the incident, and the rookie going to have to come back next week and work a little harder, finishing 28th. But Lloyd Moore 29th, and Eddie Jones rounds out the top 30. John, I think you got the rest.
31st will be Bill Martin, followed by Brian Lindsay at Daniel Hill. Christian Lushin and Bruce Pearson, and rounding out your field is Gavin Adams. And Zach, before we get to the interviews, take a look at how many people in the top 10 were sitting at 8 incidences, and the next one would have DQ'd them.
Oh, wow. I forget we're privy to that information.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, Ryan would have to cheat and bring up the iRacing screen.
For those of you that can't see it, but let's just say from 5th all the way through 10th were on their 8th incident. So that outcome could have drastically changed with one little nudge there at the end of that race.
Yeah, and it makes a little sense, too. One of those guys, obviously, John mentioned, I talked about him bringing home the top 5 there. Alan Wanamaker. Boy, that makes sense as to why he wanted a cushion behind him and in front of him, because he was skating on thin ice. But let's go ahead. Let's bring up our third place finisher here, Josh Robinson. Josh, I will tell you what, man. You go back and listen to this thing, I all but wrote you off. I mean, involved in the early caution, almost at the tail end of the field. How did we bring this thing back onto the podium, man? Talk to us.
Patience, and I'm not going to be disappointed that you wrote me off, because I kind of wrote myself off too. Had a little bit of front end damage there, and I got 4X
Wait
out of that.
till you look at this thing. It's a little more than a little, Josh.
Yeah, I just nice and patient. I knew I was actually okay on fuel when I pitted about, lap 30 something, but I still had 2 minutes of damage that I was unable to get repaired. So I just bided my time. Sometimes you get a little bit lucky, right? Like you get unlucky getting caught up in a wreck, but then sometimes you get lucky and you're on the right line on a restart and you grab four spots without doing anything.
Yeah, talking to us about being good on fuel there, Josh, we kind of assumed you were. I mean, those guys, we talked to Tom. I know you probably did as well, but he told us about 13 more laps he had, man. So you were oh so close. We saw the tire fall off as well, Josh. Was there anything, though, any devil on your shoulder telling you to stay out under that caution and inherit the lead, or were the tires just too gone at that point?
So the tires were definitely too gone. I think I could muster like a 20.4 at absolute best. But yeah, the devil was definitely on my shoulder telling me, hey, stay out. Just control that restart and you might be all right. But then I looked and saw how many cars were on the lead lap. And like, nah, Tom and Andrew are the class of the field tonight. They're going to be right up on me, and then I'm just going to be a sitting duck.
Well, class of the field tonight, but we're going to come back here again, Josh, one more time in the playoffs. And is there anything we learned from tonight, maybe that we can take in the next time we come here, or is it a clean slate with the different track temps?
It'll be a clean slate. And cautions always create a little bit of carnage, but what my motto tonight was patience, and patience paid off. So I'm just going to continue that into the next Martinsville race.
Man, I absolutely love it. This consistency, it'll bring home championships. You already got the win, and now you're adding another podium to the case here. Congratulations, Josh. You got anybody you want to thank on the P3 before we kick it out of here, brother?
Yeah, thanks you guys for putting on some quality product. Thanks to everyone that shows out. 35 cars in the OBRL at Martinsville's a lot, and we showed that we got a nice little car count. Thanks to Team Miata, and then props to Tom and Andrew. They were definitely the class of the field tonight.
Yeah, they may have put on a show up front, but you put on a show driving through the field after that incident, especially with a beat-up race car. And for that, we owe you, Josh. Heck of a run tonight, man. Congratulations.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
And now, our man's going to bring up the P2 finisher here. John, who you got?
I got Andrew Koska, and we talked to Andrew a little bit earlier in the race, and man, oh man, I got to ask you this. How bad were you sweating that there was not going to be another caution?
I was almost ready to come into the pits. I'm like, I think I had like maybe 18 laps of fuel left when that caution came out. And I was like, I'm just going to keep driving as hard as I can, try to lap a bunch of guys and hope we get a caution at some point. And sure enough, got lucky with that. And I think it was like 5 cars left on the lead lap when the caution came out. So hope to be in a good spot there. But I kind of got a little slow on pit entry there. The curve here just kind of threw me for a loop getting the pit stop, and Tom was able to get out there, and I mean, so hard to pass here. So he had a great race to get that win there at the end off of that great jump on the pit road.
That would have been your opportunity to go, yeah, that's the way that I planned it. Sound all cool in that. Well, the other thing with your gas wearing down, I'm just really, really curious. Those last maybe 15, 20 laps before that caution came out, I could see the car really start dancing around there. Just out of curiosity, do you know what your tire wear was after running that long?
It was surprisingly not that bad at all. My right front
really?
Was like 93%. Yeah, I think at the end of that run, I think I was getting more sketchy because I saw a bunch of guys up ahead that I can kind of try to hopefully get around to have a good position if the caution came out. So I kind of pushed a little bit more there at the end. And yeah, the tires didn't wear much, but you definitely could see it on the lap times too as the run went on.
Well, your lap times were down, but the thing that was really getting me from watching you on track, you were passing guys that made pit stops 30, 40 laps, prior, and you were still, coming out. They have, 30, 40, 50 laps newer tires, but you were still putting them a lap down. So that makes complete sense on that front. There at the end, though, it looked like you kind of trying to throw everything but the kitchen sink at Tom to catch him. What more did you need at the end there to maybe get up there and make a move on him?
I mean, I don't think I really had anything for him unless he made some kind of big mistake in the middle of the corner there. I mean, it's so hard to try to make a pass here at Martinsville in this car. Even if you try to kind of make a run, it's really hard with even the dirty air you still kind of get even at a short track here too.
Well, I tell you, you made this race exciting. Had us on pins and needles for the end there, wondering if you were going to have to make that pit stop. But congratulations on a second place finish here. That means a good points night for you. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to you guys here in the booth. You guys do such a great job. I enjoy watching those broadcasts back afterwards. They're so good to see. And shout out to the whole OBRL admin team here. I know they're going to have a busy night after they have to go and review everything here. So hopefully they're not up too late. And shout out to all friends and family out there watching the broadcast here as well tonight. Hopefully boosting up your viewer numbers here for you guys tonight.
Well, awesome, man. It was a pleasure to watch you guys, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you next week from Darlington.
Yeah, sounds good. Hopefully Darlington will be a fun track. We'll see what kind of happens there.
All right, buddy. We'll see you next week. That's Andrew Koska, our runner-up here tonight from Martinsville. And Zach, you got the race winner, Tom Mogul.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, Tom. Yeah, man. Shaggy up here, dude. Welcome to the OBRL playoff party, brother. How we feeling, man? This was a long time coming.
Jeez, I've had a kind of a rough season. I didn't think I was going to win at all this year. I've ran good and like put myself in position. I just haven't been the fastest car, you know. And here, I don't think I was either. I think Andrew we were pretty even, but I probably wasn't going to be able to pass him. But then I got him into pits, which saved my race.
That being said, man, what was the trick? Because Andrew let this in on a little note, you know, I mean, and it's something John and I really should have highlighted. I kicked myself as soon as he said that. You know, this is one of the only pit roads where you're kind of going through the turns. So, I mean, you can strategize a little bit, cut here and there, make up a little bit of ground. How did we nail that pit stop, man? Because you're right, that was the absolute difference.
Right. So, and I would like to tell you that it was planned, but I screwed up my second lap. I had a really good first lap going, and then I completely screwed up my second lap. I had a good lap going on my first lap, going down the backstretch, but I'm like, boy, if I'm this good on the first lap, I'm going to throw it away and go for my second. And I overdrove one and killed my lap. So I was done. So I was sixth, but it put me right on the corner. Like, I could almost cut the corner, go in pit, and then continue cutting the corner to pull out, if that makes sense.
Okay, so maybe, you know, that's something here.
Yeah.
Now that we're in the playoff party, do we put that in the little notebook, Tom, and remember that when we come back here playoff time? Because that is a good point, man. That's really important.
If you're that good to nail qualifying sixth when the field's as close as it is, you don't need to worry about pit stops. You're going to win the race anyhow. You know what I mean? It would be so hard. And you know what would happen is you would lay off and not run hard and end up 15th or something, you know?
Yeah, I know better than that, Tom. I've watched you in these races. You're one of those guys. You're just laying in the grass. I get it. Want to come in there sneaky, but, you know, the cover's off now. You're in here, and, I mean, were you sweating at all on the final green-white checker?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You weren't?
Every time I got a good start, the restart zone in this is such a huge advantage. I mean, it's huge. For whatever reason, you get clear of the outside car almost every time. And I was mixing up where I was starting a different place every time, so he couldn't, not that he would, but I didn't want to get rolled on the start or let him get a jump. And then making sure I didn't overdrive one. And then also I didn't want to overdrive the exit and get loose and let him get inside. So it was like a tightrope of you just got to hit that turn one perfect. And then once I did that, I was pretty confident that I'd be okay, because he was really going to have to work hard to pass me.
Obviously, you know, league not going to supply it. You know, they can get a little pricey, but you may have to go out to the flea market here, Tom. Where do we put the grandfather clock? You know that's the trophy.
Well, my wife will make me put it in the basement. Probably with any trophies or any trinkets that I have, it'll go in the basement.
Well, hey, man, Richard Petty was like the king of this place in the late 70s, and it's pretty fitting that you bring home a win in this machine. Pretty awesome. Congratulations on the big win, Tom. You got anybody you want to thank?
Just my teammates, Josh and Brian Lynch and Mark Fish. Everybody, we were kind of bouncing off brake bias off of each other the whole practice, because like 1 or 2 points either way would be the difference. Dan Hill also gave me some advice. I want to thank him and Courtney for spinning out, because I think Courtney was probably the fastest car. So him and Andrew were definitely the fastest. I just kind of lucked out. I'll take it, though.
Hey, man, I would say, right, Tom? You'd rather be lucky than good. And
exactly.
If that's what it takes, man, you're in the playoffs. And now, you know, before we kick you out of here, how does it change the way you drive the rest of the season? You know, do we go a little harder for wins knowing we're locked in? Maybe be aggressive here and there, or do we keep it the same? Do we play it
probably?
The way we have been?
I run pretty aggressive. You know what I mean? So I won't change my way. Bristol's my favorite, and I love it there. So I was pretty confident with 2 shots at it there, I would probably make the playoffs. But I was just top 5 every week, and if you put yourself in position to win, you're bound to get it. So I'll keep running the same. I'll probably get wrecked out a bunch of times. Don't worry. I'll create some content for you.
I love this too, John. Do you hear that? I mean, he wins at Martinsville, and his favorite track is Bristol. We got a short track asphalt guy with us.
Yeah, listen, I love short tracks. I can't stand mile and a halves, but I'm a huge short track guy. North Wilkesboro, let's just run every week at Bristol, North Wilkesboro, South Boston, everywhere.
Oh, man. You got fenders. You got to use them at the short tracks. Love it.
Yep, exactly.
Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you, guys.
With the way you've been
much.
running this season, it may not be the top step, but we're going to talk to you again, Susan. Soon, man. Congratulations.
Yep, thank you, guys.
That's Tom Ogle, your winner here at the Martinsville Speedway. And John, maybe he said it, not the fastest car, but I mean, at a racetrack like this, you get those elbows out, you nail your pit stop, you can bring it home.
Yeah, I mean, that goes to show, though, the practice and figuring out what you can do, what you can't do, when to pit, all this kind of stuff, because, he knew to kind of stretch it. Both those guys did, and it paid off for them. Not maybe quite in the way they wanted to, but you know what? When you can practice and put yourself in the positions to win, sometimes, those wins just come. They fall in your lap.
Yeah, and a driver of that quality, he's going to get a couple more, and I don't know if they're going to fall in there, but he's definitely going to take. I mean, Tom, one of the best drivers, quickest drivers. Congratulations. Welcome to the playoffs. But let's go ahead. Let's take a look. You know the drill by now. What is coming up here next week? And, well, we touched on it a little bit. You heard Kotska mention it to John, the lady in black. John, that track starts off white. Why do we get that nickname?
Because that track, the guys are going to be racing the track just as much as they're racing each other there. And one slip up, and guess what? You're in the wall. The lady's going to smack you around. That's what that comes down to there. And two completely different corners, and a lot of speed, and yeah, just a tough track.
Yeah, and you'll see, too, when we get there. But with the way it's banked, it's a lot of guys fighting for the same real estate. So similar instances tonight. If an accident happens in front of you, it is going to be tough to miss. But coming up Monday here, BRL starts a new one here, the MVRL ARCA Series. And I believe I heard my friends talking. That's our man Soup and J.R. Shepard. And, guys, that's a late one, but I'll definitely tune in Monday nights at 9:25. What are we thinking about the new ARCA cars, John? If I'm being completely honest, I haven't even bought them yet, but Aiden Young is on me. I'm gonna buy them.
I bought them, and I've taken some laps at Charlotte in them, and they're a lot of fun. So I haven't really raced them yet, but I don't know. Maybe I joined this this MVRL league and put some laps in on it.
I'll tell you what, if you stuck around this long, we really, really thank you. It was a great race here for the OBRL YesterYear Racing Cup Series. But on behalf of everyone at the Virtual Grip Network and my partner John Hine, our dude in the back, Ryan Steneker, and last but not least, all of you, have a good night.